Okay, grade 7, 8. We're going to have a look at the lesson 6. This is about graphing and patterns. We're going to do some steps together, and then you guys have some practice questions. You can see grid paper in the background here. I would recommend that you use the grid paper option on Notability, or if you have some graph paper at home, you could use that as well. I'll show you how to do that a little later in the lesson. So here's the question. Omar is designing a path for the school garden. The path will have 30 equilateral triangle paving stones which line up to form a straight path. On each side of the path there will be border pieces. Each border piece is half as long as one side of a triangle stone. So we see the diagram to the right. This diagram will be helpful for us to fill out some tables of values and make some charts. So the question we're trying to answer is, how many border pieces will Omar need for the path? Step A. The table of values below shows how the perimeter of the path increases as triangle stones are added. Copy and complete the table of values. So I've done that down here. If we look at the sides of the triangle, that's what the perimeter path units are. So we start with 3 sides, and then it goes up to 4 and 5, 6, 7, and we notice that the pattern rule is start at 3 and add 1 each time. Okay, in grade 8 that would be n plus 2 would be the algebraic expression for this. So step B says draw the scatter plot using the data in your table of values. Use values from number of triangles and the corresponding perimeter of path units as the coordinates for each point. So I'm not going to use this graph here. It's a little blurry and it's actually not big enough to do what the step says. But I have created it down here. Now, if you're in grade 8, first of all, every graph should have a title. They've given us the title Omar's Path, so I've used that. It should also have labels for each axis, and it's also given us that. In most cases, when you're asked to draw a graph of some patterns, down here would normally be the term number, which is the same as the number of triangles in this case. And over here would be the term value, which in this case is the same as the perimeter of path units. So you can kind of see where I plotted those first 3 points. And when any pattern that goes up by the same amount each time is called a linear pattern, which means that it's going to make a straight line when we make a graph. So I've made that straight line, and I've drawn another line over here on the right-hand side to indicate 30 triangles, which is what I'm trying to figure out how many path units that's going to take. And then I follow that over in a straight line over this side, and I notice it takes 32. And that makes sense from our table of values because the term number is always 2 less than the actual term value. So that answers my question for step B. Then it says use the perimeter of the pattern of the points on the scatter plot to predict the perimeter of the path using 30 triangle stones. All right, so I've answered that. That's 32 perimeter path units. On to step D. Add a third column on the right side of your table of values, label it number of border pieces, and record the data. If we go back up to this diagram, the border pieces are these toothpick-like structures. So when there's only one unit, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those pieces. So down here I would put in a 6. And if I go up here for 4 perimeter path units, well, every perimeter path unit has 2 pieces, border pieces to it. So that's going to be 2 times 4, which would be 8. This will be 2 times 5, which will be 10. So my pattern here is start at 6 and increase by 2 each time. For grade 8, that would be 2n plus 4, which would give us our algebraic expression. So I'm going to leave this with you now on this step. You need to draw a new scatter plot using number of triangles and the corresponding number of border pieces as the coordinates for each point. I would not recommend using this. Add a page, so you can do that by tapping the 3 buttons down here and add page. And then you've got the grid paper there. Make yourself another graph like mine for yours. I'll just give you a hint. These numbers go up a lot faster than the first one, so your numbers at the side are going to have to go up faster than 5s. Okay, so I would maybe suggest going up by 2s, so that here where it says 5, that would be a 10. Okay, and then go up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and you should have enough room to show the answer to that pattern. And then the last step, use the scatter plot you drew in step E to determine how many border pieces are needed for 30 triangle stones. Okay, so I've done most of the steps for you, and then you just have to finish off those last couple there. The practice questions for today then. Grade 7, numbers 6 to 9, and grade 8, numbers 3, 5, 6, and 8. This is due tomorrow. The grade 8 questions come first. I've labeled them for you today. And the grade 7 questions come second down here. Okay, again, you're welcome to ask Mr. Roofer or I questions during math today. We will be in the meeting the whole time, and we'll be here to help you. Good luck.